So now we've got to start programming the Raspberry Pi up. This page here is the developer, Brian Wilson, who's actually spent much time writing it all, and the link is down in the description, so click on there and open that up, and then you need to come here. And here's all the software and instructions and drivers and everything that we need to load up into the Pi. So if you just read down here, all of the commands I'm going to use are actually in this document here. But it can be a little bit awkward to follow sometimes, and what you really do want to ignore is this bit here, because that's where I got very confused. So we'll start with the very first command, the Pi installation, and if you just copy, so it's highlight it, CTRL C. I don't know what you do for a Mac, I don't have one. Go over to your Pi and right click on the mouse. Control V won't work, so right click on your mouse and it will paste in what you've copied. So remember that, right click, hit return, and the Pi will start to bring itself up to the latest version of the firmware. So we need to let it do that, and then we'll go on to the next command. Right, that's done. So next we need to load up libraries and drivers, I believe they are. I don't know, I'm as big a dummy as you guys. So highlight it, Control C. Again, the command will be down in the description. Left click to get your cursor into the Raspberry Pi. Right click to copy paste in the command. And hit return, and it will load up all the libraries. So that's finished now, and the next thing we need to do is check that our Bluetooth adapter is actually working. So we just need to copy and paste this command here. Don't put the $sign in. Right click, push return, and what you're looking for is the up and running and the information corresponding with what you've got in this window. So that's it, our Bluetooth transmitter receiver is all up and running. So now we need to start loading in the software. Now, to write all this software into the actual Pi, we need to create a directory system first, so it matches up how Brian has it set up, and then when we run later on a service file that loads the program up automatically on reboot, it'll all work. So to create directories, we need to do the following. So it's mkdir, mkdir, space, /home, /pi, /git. That makes the first directory, because at the moment the home directory and Pi directories are already there. We're actually making the git directory. So that's that done. Then we want to do the same for the next directory, which is BTLE-Presence. So if you just hit the up arrow, it'll redo the command for you. And then all you have to do is /caps BTLE-P lowercase presence. And then hit return. and that will have all of your directory structure up as Brian the developer has set it up to work. The next thing we need to do is change our directory so that we're actually installing all of the software into the BTLE-Presence directory. To change directories, we need the change directory command, which is cd space / then you're going to go home /pi /git capital BTLE hyphen capital P RESENCE, and that will take you to your BTLE-Presence directory, which is in blue, so we can now start installing all of the software there. Now, to copy and paste the files over, we need to open up a text editor, and that's called Nano. And we need to do nano followed by the file name for each file that we want to put in here. So what we're going to do is start off by running a test beacon script so that we can make sure that it can see all of our fobs. Now I've put this command down below for you, and what you're looking to do is copy, right click, paste nano tast _ beacon.py and hit return. That will open up the text editing window for you to actually paste your file into. Now, to get the file, you need to come over to Brian's web page here and just click on the test beacon py file, and then just copy and paste it all. So just make sure you've got it all. CTRL C, click at the top of your text editor in putty and right click, and that will write all of that text over for you. Once it's in there, you want CTRL O to write it out. So CTRL Shift O, click return, and that's written the file over, and then CTRL X to get out of there. So there we go. Now if you type ls and hit return, you'll see that the file test beacon py is in there, and you've written that one. Right, now we need to check that it's actually working correctly, and the command for that's going to be sudo python test py. Again, the command's down below for you. Right click, and there it is, and you hit return. Now that's going to run a test script that finds all of your Bluetooth devices. Okay, we had a bit of a niggle there. The Pi dropped off the network for some reason. I'm not quite sure why, but I just closed it down and restarted the putty session. Remember that your log on is always Pi unless you set up another user, and your password will be how you set it. So as I was saying, the next thing we need to do is actually test the software that we've just installed. Oh, we're in the wrong directory, aren't we? Okay, because the connection failed, I've rebooted it. I need to change directories first. So you remember that cd /home /pi /git /BTLE hyphen capital P and then RESENCE. That'll put us in the right direction, and then hopefully if we run it, it should run this time. Yeah, so there we've got all of the various Bluetooth devices that this Raspberry Pi can see. Now I actually have 4 tiles. I've got 2 sitting next to this one, and the other 2 are out and about. Now what will happen is that the way that this is set up, it's designed to only log every 10 seconds a new device, and then after that you will start to see your devices, because tiles only broadcast every 10 or 20 seconds or whatever it is. This will start to filter them out, and what you're also looking for is very low RSSI signals. The higher it is, the further away from your Pi is the actual Bluetooth that's coming back. So these 2 here, 21 and 24, very likely to be these 2 tags. Well, I know for a fact that they are these 2 tags, because I've already sorted. Now I struggled with this to begin with. I struggled to isolate them, and what I found helped me was I actually took this Pi down the garden where it could still get Wi-Fi and sat the tiles next to it, and then it became really obvious which were the tiles that I needed. And then by process of elimination, what I had to do was take the batteries out of them all and just leave one connected. And then I knew once that MAC address started repeating, that would be the MAC address of that tile, and so forth. So number your tiles 1 through to whatever you've got. Take all of the batteries out of all of them apart from 1. Find its MAC address, because that will be the only one that's still repeating, and then make a note of it. And then by process of elimination, you do that with the rest of your tiles or Bluetooth devices, whatever you're using as your monitor device. It's hit and miss, it's a bit long-winded, but it does work, and if you persevere, you will get all of the MAC addresses that you need, and we can move on to the next stage. Right, for the next stage we actually need to install the software that's going to run and check the beacons for us as part of the Hubitat program, and that one's called Check Beacon Presence. So first we need to open up the text editor with the nano command. Again, copy and paste from below, and right click, and it's nano check presence beacon.py is the file name. Hit return, and it's going to open up the text editor for us. Then if you come back to the web page where all of Brian's software is, right, we've got our text editor open in the Raspberry Pi. We need to make some mods to this file here. So this is the one we're going to be loading up next. Check beacon presence .py matches up with that now. So open it up, select it all, okay. Once you've got it, CTRL C, then I need you to open up a new text document. And you saw how to do that earlier on. So it's new text document, and then I need you to copy all of that in there. So Control V, and that copies all of that text over there so we can amend it. Okay, the first thing we need to do is there's a common error up here. We need to click there right at the beginning and put a hash in. All right, then we're going to save it. Control S. The next thing we need to do is we need to alter this tag data here. This is what Brian has put in as an example, and we need to make up our own. So that's the next step. So we'll minimize that for now and move on to actually making up our tag data. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually open up the file that I made with my tag data in it, which is on my desktop. And what I did was I actually, if I open up the other one as well, what I did was I cut and paste this, and then I deleted these. Well, I didn't delete them, I actually copied them twice, so I'd got 4, which is how many tags I've got, and then I entered my information into those fields, keeping all the syntax as it is. Now here, switch mode, what that does is that it will only send information when the tags go out of range and come into range. If you change it into repeat mode, it will send the RSSI signal strength out, continuously updating every 3 seconds. You can do that if you want. If you might be able to use that feature, I think, and use it to set various rules, but I'm not entirely sure. But it will use extra overhead on your Hubitat, so I don't use it. I keep mine in switch mode, because as I've got 4 tags and I've got at the moment 3 monitors, soon to be 4, if they were all reporting RSSI data every 3 seconds, that would be a lot of information going into the Hubitat and using up its processor, so I don't do that. So what we need to do then for that file is delete this, and then copy and paste what you've prepared for your MAC addresses. So Control C, Control V, and there we go. That will now work for me. Okay, now just here, that's a time setting for how long it waits before it tells you that the tag is out of range. Now for me 30 seconds was too short, so I changed it to 60 on all of mine. So now when the tag is out of range for 60 seconds, it will actually register as, it'll send a message saying, oh, I've gone for your Hubitat. Hit save. As well as the timing here, this is quite an important piece of information, and you need it for Hubitat. Now the more of these monitors, stations that you have, this will have to change, and this is actually my 3rd one, so I personally need to change this to number 3. If it's your first one, you will leave it as just home. Save that. So this works for me, and it's just here. It's saying this tag mark, which is its name, and then its MAC address. After 60 seconds, is going to report as away to the monitor station home 3, which is going to send a switch signal to the Hubitat. So that's basically how it works. Then we need to select all of this script and paste it over to the Pi. So Control A selects it all, Control C copies it all over to your Pi, right click, and it will write it all over. Give it a few seconds. Okay, once that's done, then Control O writes it out, hit return, and Control X, and then if we do ls, you should see the actual file in there. Yeah, it's just there, look. One other bit of code we're going to have to change is a web address just here, but we need to get that from Hubitat when we set it up later on, so we'll come in and edit that in a bit. Okay, so that's that stage complete. Now we need to run it as a test, and the command for that is, you've guessed it, sudo python check beacon sy. It's down in the description below. So copy it, right click, and run it. And there we go. It's repeating or reporting my wife is at home, I'm away at the moment, and the 2 guests are away. Now it's saying the guests at home, I'm at home. So we're just waiting for guest 2 to report in. And there we go, so guest 2 is home, and that's all correct. Now if you take the batteries out of any of your tags, then they will report as away. Let's see if I can just quickly do that. This one is guest number 1. Hopefully, if I'm right, after 60 seconds of waiting. And there we go, it's reported guest 1 as away, and the bleep was a notification on my phone saying that guest 1 is away, which I've got running for test purposes. I don't know whether you can see that or not. Yeah, notification at the bottom, guest 1 has left. So if I pop the battery back in, that's it. Oh, that's a notification saying, as you can see, the guest 1's back home, and it's told my phone that I'm back home again. So that's all working. So we need to stop that service. Control C. So that's about it for the Pi side of things for now. We need to go and do the Hubitat side of the installation to get the URL to enter in the file, and then we need to add a service file so that it all boots up automatically, but we'll come back and do that in a minute. So now to get on with the Hubitat side of things.